Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, comment. I really need this, guys. Please, I'm begging you. So on today's story, I've got a South African individual that I would like us to delve deep in, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy the story. Imagine being taken from your home, put on a ship, and displayed in front of crowds, not because of something you did, but because of how you were born. This is the story of Sarah Baartman, a South African woman who was turned into a spectacle for the world to stare at. So the story starts. Sarah Baartman was born in the late 1700s. There isn't an exact date of when she was born, but it was late in the 1700s. And she was born in the Eastern Cape province, which is a province in South Africa, for those that are joining me outside South Africa. She was part of the Khoisan people, a community that had already suffered years of colonialism and displacement. By the time she was a young woman, her life had already been shaped by poverty, control, loss. Then one day, everything changed. She was approached with a promise, the promise to travel to Europe, to earn money, and to live a better life. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, why was she chosen to travel to Europe? Now, if you've been to South Africa, or if you travel to South Africa, you will see how women are shaped as opposed to the type of women that are in Europe. And so when the colonizers came this side and saw how Sarah Baartman was shaped differently, they felt the need that she could be a spectacle, she could be an object that people would want to look at when they were when they were to if they were to go to Europe. And so that is why they offered her the false promise of a better life in Europe, knowing full well that is not what they intended for her. So, but she didn't know that it was all a facade, um, and that she was being taken there as an attraction. So, in 1820, Usara Baartman was taken to London, but instead of the opportunity, she found something else. She was put on display in public shows. Crowd gathered to look at her body. They stared, they laughed, they pointed. She was given the name and stripped of her humanity and dignity, the Hottentot Venus, which is a name rooted in racism and mockery. She was forced to stand, sometimes barely clothed, while strangers examined her like an object. Not a human being, not a woman, but a spectacle. At some point, questions were raised in Britain. Was she being forced? Was the slavery? A court case was eventually opened. But Sarah, under pressure, control, and language barriers, was made to say that she had a choice. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And just like that, the system justified what was happening to her. Sometimes oppression doesn't need chains, just silence. I think that's a very powerful thing. I think that's a very powerful quote there. Okay. Then later on, she was taken to Paris. I did indicate that later on she was taken to Paris. Mind that she was taken, not moved. If things were bad in Paris, it was worse. She was no longer displayed in shows, but she was rather studied. Scientists examined her body, trying to prove racist ideas about Black people. Even in science, she was not seen as a human. She was reduced to measurements, to comparisons, to theories that tried to justify inequality. So in 1815, she was around 26 years old, 26, around 26 years, Sarah Baartman died. But even in her death, she was not given peace. Her body was preserved and displayed in museums in France. Can you imagine? For over 150 years, she remained an object for people to look at. Not buried, not honored, but displayed. Finally, it was only in 2002, after years of request and pressure from the South African government, that Sarah Baartman was finally returned home, back to South Africa, where she was laid to rest with dignity, finally treated like she deserved to be, a human being. This is not just a story about the past, it is a story about how easily people can lose their humanity when others stop seeing them as humans. Sarah Baartman was not a spectacle. She was not an object. She was a person, and she deserved dignity from the very beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Please comment, like, and share if you guys want me to continue to do stories like this. Thank you so much. And just a last note from me, I want us to take the story as a reflection of how people's perception of you as an individual can impact and shape your life. So I guess one needs to know that I need to take my own power back and not let society and people determine who I am, but rather let God do that. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.